Good afternoon, everyone. Thank y'all for attending Lunch and Learn today. I'm sure everyone will be very pleased with our topic today. I think it's a very interesting topic related to just about pretty much anyone. But Mr. Gady Youmans is going to be our presenter today. He's going to speak for about 30 or 45 minutes, and then he will leave a Q&A session right after that. So if you do have questions, he will have time for that after his presentation, okay? All right. Mr. Gady Youmans, if you will come on up.
All right. Can y'all hear me pretty decent? Is there any little bit of ring in it? Just a little bit. Awesome. Cool. I want to share with you guys today on a topic that is a passion of mine. If any of you like money, whether it's because you don't want to go broke, or you like money because you like stuff, or you like to be able to do things, we're all in that boat. Money touches every aspect of your life. It touches every aspect of my life. But how to win with money is not something that our culture is very good at today. It doesn't take long. If you watch the news for 5 minutes, you're going to see somebody in the news, some politician, somebody talking about debt, over budgeting, or not even budgeting, going broke, having all lives being ruined because of financial issues. So obviously, as the title of this little seminar today is How to Win with Money, the Multi-Million-Dollar Question. My name is Gady Youmans. I've been teaching financial stewardship, personal finances for about 4 or 5 years now. Doing it one-on-one with individuals and in a classroom setting. I'm a Christian, and I'm unapologetic about that. So with that being said, most of the principles that I get on how to manage finances, how to be a steward or a manager of the resources you have, I get that from a biblical worldview. But whether or not you're a Christian in this room today or not, that's not the issue. The issue is whether or not you're managing the resources you have to take care of yourself, your family, and to provide for your future and your family in the future. So with that being said, we all have dreams. Everybody in here has a dream. If you don't have a dream, then you're missing out on a big part of your life. Now, obviously, this is a really cool picture to me. It took me a while to find it. Anybody have an idea of what this is? Anybody? Really big piece of ice and a really big boat. Yeah, I was thinking about doing some kind of, dreaming big boat, ice, ocean, all this kind of stuff, but that is really not the point. This is actually Antarctica. My dream is to go there one day. I'm going to Antarctica one day. I am going to chase some penguins off into the water. That is my goal. Not because I just want to go to where there are no people. The reason is I love to travel. I've been to 4 different continents. I plan on going to Asia. My wife's already beat me to Asia. Neither one of us have been to Australia. We're going to all the major inhabited continents. And one day we are going to go to Antarctica because we can say we've literally been all over the world. And honestly, how many people have you met that can say they've been to the farthest point in the South, Antarctica? You got to dream big. That right there is not actually a fishing boat or whatnot. That's a cruise ship for people that want to go to Antarctica, and that's going to be about a $15,000 to $20,000 trip one day in the future. But it's a dream. Most people don't dream big. They dream, I want a new TV. I just want to get paycheck to paycheck. I want to make it to the end of the month. I want to be able to provide for Christmas, which is fine. But the higher you dream, the more likely you are to reach those dreams. And even if you fall short, you're way, way better off than where you were to begin with. But we also dream, but we also want to help. My generation, the whole 35 and younger millennial generation, we're kind of defined as the people that we want to do something with our lives. We want to be medical professionals. We want to be in ministry. We want to travel the world. We want to help those in need. But here's the deal. If you're broke, you ain't helping nobody in need. You might, but then it'll come in the form of a credit card bill that comes in at the end of the month because you gave someone else's money away, but you're liable for it. But we want to help people. This young lady right here, got to meet her about 3 years ago. Her name was Rose, was her name. We were on a mission trip in Eastern Africa in Uganda. While we were there, she was found in her hut, had not eaten in about 3 days. I don't know if you can tell from this picture, but her wrist, she's a 12-year-old girl, and her wrist was about that big around. Extremely malnourished. We got this when we got her. The family said we could. Her mother had actually abandoned her, and we used to think, what kind of mother would abandon their daughter starving to death? But when you think of it from their perspective, is what kind of mother wants to watch their child die when they know there's nothing they can do about it? So obviously we were able to feed this girl. She fixed a plate of rice and beans and potatoes like it was ridiculous. I don't think 3 grown men in this room could eat it all. But the reason she did it is because she didn't know when the next meal was going to come. So she wanted to eat as much as she could. So we had to tell her, obviously, you got food. There's going to be plenty of food. Eat a little bit now. Don't get sick. And we were able to help her. She, again, I told you I'm a Christian, and this was on a mission trip. She gave her life to Christ several months later. It was at the orphanage that she was staying at. Really just vibrant smile here in this picture. But she would not see her 13th birthday. We want to help people. And honestly, I think anybody in here with half a heart would say, listen, if I had enough money right now to go over there and help 10 more kids like that, we would do it. It's just whether or not we have the resources to do those kind of things. And we want to help and we want to dream. We call it the American dream. We want to do things. We want to be generous. We want to be prosperous. But you can't help other people if you can't even help yourself. And you can't help yourself if you're not doing what you need to be doing to take care of these things. The sad reality for a lot of Americans is we're the richest nation in the world and we're broke. We're the richest nation in the history of the world. I hear a lot of stuff, and I'm not even going to get political on this, but talking about the richest people in America, richest people in America. If you work at McDonald's 20 hours a week, minimum wage, you're in the top 3% of the richest people in the world. I've been to 17 different countries. Most of those countries, the average working adult, if they're working, makes about $1 to $5 a day, working 10 to 12 hours a day. If you're making minimum wage in America, you're in the top 3% of the working individuals in the world. But we're broke. Every single one of us are broke, it seems. Number 1 cause of divorce in America. If you want to get married, if you are married, guess what? Money touches every aspect of your life, and when you're married, you should be working together in every aspect of your life. And if you ain't agreeing on the money, you're going to be fighting about every area of your life, and it's going to lead to divorce. Number 1 cause of suicide in America. Financial struggles, money struggles. It is literally killing people not to know how to manage their resources well. It's destroying families. I'm in student ministry and I see students all the time talking about mom and dad are getting divorced, they're fighting, I don't know who I'm living with this week. It happens. And it all boils down to not knowing how to manage money well. Most have little to no savings, and we're in a point right now where there's a lot of people on I-16 coming to our town. I wonder how many of them can actually afford the hotel during an emergency, or the extra gas, or the 4 meals out that they're going to have to eat for a day or two. Statistics show that the average American has less than $500 in savings for an emergency. 500. That's 1 car deductible on a flat tire. You're messed up and putting something on a credit card. We don't have savings. No retirement. This is even worse. Relying on Social Security ain't not going to work. Social Security replaces about 20% of your income. Most people don't have any money set aside for retirement. We're living longer, but we have no way to take care of ourselves. And 7 out of 10 Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. Meaning, I had a guy the other day, I asked, when I was talking with some adults about this, I said, how many of you get to the end of the month and you realize there's more month than money? And the guy looked at me and goes, that happens about 13 months out of the year for me. I was like, whew. I was like, I'm glad we're having this conversation. He goes, that's why we're having this conversation. There's always more week than money. There's always more month than money. And me and my wife ain't on the same page about it. And she gets frustrated. I get frustrated. We fight. And it happens every time, about 25th to the 30th. That's where we're at. Most people have lost hope. They've lost hope. You see this in victim mentality. You see it with people saying, oh, it's never going to get any better. I'm never going to be rich. I'm never going to have anything. I just might as well suck it up and realize this is where I'm at. They go into bankruptcy or think they're going to have to go into bankruptcy, think they're going to have something mortgaged, they're going to have to, or foreclosed on. They think they're going to have, borrow. The Bible says that the borrower is slave to the lender. If you're in debt, don't you feel like a slave when they call and say, hey, the payment's due? And you go, man, look how much I owe. And 7 out of 10 are living paycheck to paycheck and they have no hope. Richest nation in the world, and we are hopeless when it comes to our finances. Average college student, which would be many of you. Student loan debt. I heard a few little murmurs there when I said student loan debt. May 2016, the average college student graduated with $35,000 in student loan debt. 2015, that number was at $31,000. 2014, that number was at $29,000. Do the math, that number is going up really, really fast. The average college student is graduating this past May with $35,000 in student loan debt, or, and they're going to average, put that on the 10-year plan, 120 months of payments of being in debt on average. I ain't talking about the crazies that have $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 in student loan. I'm talking about average people. Or they got to have stuff. I was a college student. I like stuff. Anybody else like stuff? Nobody like stuff in here? How many of you got an iPhone? Y'all like stuff? Okay. Y'all like stuff. iPhone 7. I was talking to one of my high school students the other day. He's like, I got to get a new iPhone 7. I was like, really? You got an iPhone 6S? He goes, I know. $250, I can get an upgrade. I'm like, you're an idiot. He goes, why not? I want it. I was like, it's okay to want it, but can we talk about first the opportunity cost of what you're going to give up to get that? He's like, okay. Overdraft fees. Did you know Wells Fargo made $2.2 billion last year in overdraft fees? 2.2 billion with a B. Lots of zeros on the end of that number. BB&T made $2.1 billion in overdraft fees last year. The banks are making billions. We're broke because we're giving it away. They're making billions upon billions because we can't figure out that when you write a check, if there's not enough money in there, it's going to bounce, and we're going to have to pay 15 to 30 bucks to cover it every month or every time it's done. Billions of dollars are going away in overdraft fees. And this one's a crazy one. $15 billion last year by college students ages 18 to 24 spent $15 billion on clothes, alcohol, DVDs, and video games. 17% of student loans. That number is 17% of the student loan balance made up last year. College students are broke. They're taking out student loans like crazy. We could cut 20% off your student loans right now if the average college student would just stop buying clothes, going to the movies, buying DVDs and video games, and the ones that, again, 22 to 20, or 18 to 24, half of you can't drink anyway. Or not supposed to. I know, touchy subject. Working adults and families. This is for the teachers, the administrators, or the students in here that are non-traditional student loan debt. 10-year repayment plan. We're supposed to be done with that at age 32. However, statistics show that the person that goes on the 10-year repayment plan actually doesn't pay it off in 10 years. It's actually 15 to 18 years. You will have a kid getting ready for college when you get your student loans paid off on average. Talking to a guy today. Okay, guy's almost 40 years old. We were just talking about some stuff, some financial planning. He wants to sit down with me one-on-one. And he goes, yeah, I almost got my student loans paid off. And I was sitting there going, you're 38 years old. He goes, yeah, I know. I only got 5,000 left. So that happens with adults. Car payments. You always got to have a car, right? Car payments are a way of life. You got to have a car payment. We're going to show you what the math on a car payment does here in a second, because that'll hurt your feelings. And then credit card debt. 88% of people that have that piece of credit card in their pocket, that Capital One, that MasterCard, whatever it is, 88% of them will not pay it off in full, at least once or every month, which means they're going to get charged on average a year 15% interest. If I told you that there is a 90% chance that you're going to get hit by a car when you go out of this room, how many are going to leave the room? 90% chance. That's not good odds. If I told you that there was a 90% chance that your marriage was going to struggle, that you'd be tempted to commit suicide, that your family would be destroyed, that you would be a slave to a lender, if I told you there was a 90% chance of doing that, you'd probably go, well, I don't want to do whatever's going to cause that. A credit card will do that. Statistically proven in the last 20 years, it will do that to you. And that's just what the average, car payments, student loans, and credit cards. That seems to be what we're all looking at. I like this little, we're going back to the iPhone for a second. I hope you like your iPhone, all right? iPhone 7, upgrade $250, okay? Or at least that's what it is on Verizon if you're kind of in good terms with them. If you were to take $250 today, 22-year-old college student, okay? Put in some good Roth IRA mutual funds, annualizing at 12%, which the S&P 500 is averaging 12% a year for the past 75 years. You're not going to get this at your local bank if you put it in an IRA there. You're going to get 3 to 5%. I'm talking about like you got to go outside of town a little bit, talk to some people that do this for a living and don't sell other products as well. You put it that in, and just for example, I ain't making this up. Mine and my wife's retirements last year, we averaged about 14%. Okay, so those things are out there. Age 18 to 65, don't buy the iPhone this year. Wait till next year. Put your $250 this year in some Roth IRAs. At age 65, you have $68,000 and it's tax-free because it's in a Roth IRA. I hope you like your iPhone because it's costing you $68,000. Just opportunity cost. Wait till next year to get one. Don't get one every single year. But let's say every 2 years. You get to upgrade every 2 years, right? Instead of paying $800, you can pay $250 every 2 years. So you'll get 5 new phones over the course of 10 years. Let's just say, instead of getting a new phone every 2 years, let's just say you dealt with one of them for a long time, okay? And let's just say you played the system a little bit here and you were really good and you put $1,000 up into this Roth IRA. Check this out. At age 65, you're a quarter of a millionaire, and it's tax-free, which means when you turn 65 years old, you want to take out $222,000 in cash, you owe the government that much. I hope you like your 5 iPhones. That hurts. I got an iPhone, okay? It's a 5S. I'm 4 models behind. Don't make fun of me, but I want to be this guy, not that guy, you know what I'm saying? Let's look at this. Cost of student loans. Average college student, $35,000 in student loans at 6.8% interest on average for 10 years, 120 months. That's just like, I don't have any student loans. I was blessed to work my butt off in college. I was on my own at 18 and I went through college at Bruton Parker, got 2 degrees, graduated with $700 in student loans. I had it paid off like July after I graduated in May. This hurts. Somebody explained this to me years ago. At $402.78 a month for 120 months, because that's the minimum payment for 10 years. You pay $48,000, but I only had $35,000 in student loans. Yeah, that's because you paid a $13,000 penalty. I didn't default, I didn't miss a payment. What's a penalty? Interest you pay somebody else is a penalty. Interest somebody pays you is a reward. Don't be penalized. Get out of debt and stop being penalized. I was broke for those 10 years. Yeah, because you were giving, about $1,300 a year, $100 a month to the bank just because for 10 years. Your kids are in elementary school and you're just now realizing, I can have a raise and get my money back that I've been just giving away. And you'll have it paid off from age 22 to age 32, maybe. Because maybe if you actually get it paid off in 10 years. But let's say you put that minimum payment, because you're going to have to pay this anyway, you know what I'm saying? But let's say you didn't have student loans and now you got the money and you just put it in your own retirement account for 10 years, because you got the student, guy A has student loans, he's going to pay all that money to the student loan company for 10 years. Guy B or girl B is going to put this money in their own retirement account for 10 years. And then in the 10 years, they're both going to stop paying off the bank or paying themselves. The one without the student loans has $92,000 of tax-free money at age 32 sitting in a retirement account. That's a $140,000 swing. One went up almost $100,000, one went over $40,000 in the hole. You see the difference here? But you can't touch a Roth IRA at age 32 without penalties. You have to be 59.5 minimum before you can even start touching it. So let's just assume you didn't pay 32, you stopped paying yourself. You gave yourself a raise, you put $400 more back in your pocket every month. You're going to just let that sit there and forget about it until age 65. Anybody want to guess what this number is about to be? You have a 1 in 200 million chance of winning the lottery and becoming a multimillionaire. Historically speaking, people that do this for the course of their working lifetimes are pretty much guaranteed to be multimillionaires. Half a decamillionaire because you decided not to have a student loan payment. I hope you like your loan, because it's costing you, if you're average, it's costing you half a decamillion. You get what I'm saying? But let's keep going. New wheels and no nest egg. Everybody's got to have a car payment, right? Average car payment just went up for 2016, okay? It is now over $500 a month on average. And the average loan term is stretched out to 68 months. Basically, when you get the car paid off, it might be dragging. You know what I'm saying? At which point you get another car payment, right? $500 a month. Between the student loan and the car payment, I had a friend I went to school with. She graduated probably about 3 or 4 years ago, and she's like, "Oh, these student loans are killing me. You know, how did they?" She put it all over Facebook. You know, how could you pay back? How do they expect you to pay $400 a month? I was like, well, I mean, you signed the paper, said that you were going to pay it back, and that's what it happened to be. And I'm sitting there thinking this stuff, and then the next day, she's like, "Honey, got me a brand new car." I was like, and I'm sitting there going, you can't pay back what you owe, so you got more debt. This is brilliant. I'm just curious, how much is that car? So I looked up the car, how much it bought. They bought it in town, so I was like, okay, I can kind of get a good idea how much they paid for it. Just guessing, I'm like, they're paying $425 a month. Yesterday, they're complaining about a $400 student loan payment. Today, they're happy about $425 car payment. I was like, they're $1,000 a month in debt. They're broke. They're normal. They're normal. They're normal, average Americans. Age 22 with a new car. Got to have a new car. You're right out of college. You're making some money. You have money for the first time. This is awesome. You're going to spend it if you're not disciplined. At age 65, if you would have just postponed that new car for 68 months and put the money you would have paid yourself in a car payment and a Roth IRA, $4.1 million. Another $4.1 million. Oh, and that's tax-free. Just throwing that out there. Age 45 with a new car. Some of you might be saying, adults, I'm not 22. But maybe you're close to 45, 50, okay? Let's say you decide, you know what, I'm going to drive what I have until the tires fall off. Lord willing, it's going to last me 68 months. Maybe I'll put $100 here or there into it just to keep the thing rolling. If you're this 45-year-old person, and if you just skip a new car for the next 5 years and put that money in your own retirement account, you have $500,000 of tax-free money at age 70. Guess what? I hope both of you like your car, because that's a really expensive car. You know what I'm saying? A really, really expensive car. But that's normal in America. Yeah, tax-free. Normal is broke. Be weird. That's all I got to say on that one. Upgrade to your iPhone 7 and lose $250,000. Take student loans. I mean, almost 17% of us just go into movies and beer and clothes on average. The average, not only here, but I'm just saying average. Lose another almost $5 million and get that brand new car at age 22. I hope you liked your iPhone, your car, and your student loans, because you just gave away $9 million. When I realized this, I didn't realize this until after a couple years after college kind of stuff. This stuff started making me sick, because I'm sitting there thinking, if I would have known this at 18, if I would have known this at 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, it made me sick. Check this out. Exponential growth curve. I've heard it said that Einstein said exponential growth is the eighth wonder of the world, because you don't really do much, but then all of a sudden it starts going crazy. If you decide, hey, I'm not going to touch my $9 million at 65, I'm going to wait till I'm 66. One more year and you are a decamillion. You'll make over $1 million in 1 year in interest, tax free. I hope you like your iPhone and your new car that's going to last you 6 years before it dies, probably. And your student loans, which you will probably name them because they will spend that much time in your family. Just throwing that out there. But what about me? I've gone too far. Maybe you're that person that you just, life's been tough. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you're in here and you're going back to school and you're 50, 55, 60 years old. Maybe you're 60 years old going, I'm right at retirement. I've done too much. I've screwed up too much. I've done all of these things. You got to understand your situation. I've been able to talk with 18-year-olds, 16-year-olds, 66-year-old just this past week about even just budgeting, debt reduction, wealth building, retirement, all this stuff. Everybody in between. Been mentored by some of the greatest financial coaches in this country at Dave Ramsey's organization in Tennessee, who just between 4 of them that I got to spend some time with back in August, they've one-on-one with over 150,000 people in this country, everywhere from the millionaires in Hollywood to the people working at McDonald's. You got to understand your situation. Most of us are afraid to understand the situation because we're afraid, I'm never going to make enough. I don't make enough. I can never worry about this. I don't even need a concern with building wealth or being able to live out my dreams because they're never going to happen. You got to understand your situation. You got to stop seeing the glass as half empty, start seeing it as half full. Because when you start doing that, you're going to realize, if I work at McDonald's 20 hours a week making minimum wage, I'm in the top 3 richest % of the people in the world. I can do something with that. If I put away $100 a month from age 22 to 65, I'm going to be a millionaire working at McDonald's. Get what I'm saying? This stuff is possible. You also have to gather accurate information. This is where financial coaches, people that actually know what they're talking about, and they're just not normal Americans or politicians, because they don't get this whole financial stuff really either. Most of them anyway. You got to gather information. Where are you really at? What does it really look like for you? Your specific information. And then you got to always realize there's hope. Most people that file bankruptcy, 90% of them that file bankruptcy don't need to file bankruptcy. They don't. Personal finance is 80% behavior and only 20% math. Most of us in here, I mean, you college students or professors, you can add, subtract, multiply, and divide. If it was a math issue, we wouldn't have any debt. It's a behavior issue. Behavior. And here's the cool thing about behavior. You can change your behavior, which means there's always hope for you. And I don't care. I mean, most people, again, going back to the bankruptcy, that's kind of like the worst case scenario. Most people that file bankruptcy, they don't have to. But you know why they file it? Because they go to a bankruptcy lawyer who tells them, yep, sign the dotted line, $2,500 to $7,500 is the average bankruptcy fee. You're broke filing bankruptcy and going into $2,500 to $7,500 more dollars in debt. But why do the bankruptcy lawyers say you're a great candidate? Because they're selling a product. Their product is bankruptcy. If you go to a car dealer and go, I need a car, they're not going to point you to the one down the street and say, go buy it from them. They're going to sell you theirs. If you go into a lawyer's office and say, I'm in a mess, what do I do? You came to someone that specializes in putting people through bankruptcy. They're going to sell you bankruptcy. If you go to the bank and say, hey, I need some money. I'm broke right now, but I need some money. You know what they're going to sell you? A credit card. They're in the business of selling products. I'm in the business of selling advice. If my advice doesn't work for you, I'm not good. This is not going to be a very long career or ministry opportunity for me, because nobody's going to want to hear what I got to say. But what can you do now to win? You know, as we get close to a little bit of Q&A here in a little bit, I don't want to just tell you information. I hope what has happened so far is one of two things has happened. You're either in that boat where you're going, whatever, I'm not average, I'm smart, I don't have student loans, I don't have a credit card, I don't have a car payment, I know what I'm doing. And if you do, that's awesome. Or you're like some of my family that knows what they're doing. Or some of my friends that know what they're doing. And 5-6 years ago, they told me they knew what they were doing. They didn't need any advice. They had it all together. And then they're calling me going, I need help. I'm like, I thought you knew what you're doing. They're like, it didn't work out that well. So that's one of those situations. Or the other one, you're going, I almost went and bought an iPhone today. I don't want an iPhone anymore. Or you're sitting there going, I'm a freshman in college and I got a couple student loans. How can I avoid those for the rest of college? I'm not telling you to drop out of college. I'm telling you to avoid student loans. Okay? I paid my way at 18. I moved out. I got to school, lived on campus at a liberal arts Baptist private college where everything is rumored to be more expensive. I went for 4 years, got 2 degrees, take my own truck, gas, phone, everything. I was on my own. $100,000 education. I came out with $700 in debt. Okay? It's possible. I've seen it possible. 100%. So what do you got to do to win? Maybe that second chair, you're sitting there going, I like what you're saying. I want to be that person. I want to be able to dream and give and help others. What do I got to do? So let's just look at a couple things. Budget, budget, and budget. Again, there's a wonderful passage in the Bible that talks about how Jesus says that if you try to start building a house or a tower or something and you don't really realize, I don't have enough money to finish this. You're going to get halfway done and go, I can't finish. And everybody else is going to laugh at you and go, that guy's an idiot. He didn't plan. You don't build a house and go, we'll meet with the contractor and go, hey, I want one right there. Well, what kind do you want? I don't know, just surprise me. I'll be back in 3 months. You don't do that. You plan. That's what a budget is. It's a plan for your money. It's also a plan to use your tool. The only tool you have to build wealth, eliminate debt, and to be able to give generously and take care of your family and leave a legacy one day is your income. And if your income is just disappearing, it's out there somewhere, you're not using your tool well. Learn to use your tool well through budgeting. And budgeting isn't just going, okay, I got these bills. It's putting it on paper. It's saying, this is how much income I have this month. Here's my expenses. Income minus expenses equals 0. If it equals a negative number, you're a great politician, okay? That's what they do. They go over budget. You want it to say income minus expenses equals 0. You know where every penny is going. If you have money left over, that's not good. It needs to go somewhere. It can go in savings. It can go to debt. It needs to go somewhere. Start budgeting. There's a wonderful app called Every Dollar. I use it. Me and my wife use it. It's wonderful. We've been using it for over a year now, and we literally don't go over budget, ever. I mean, it's wonderful. And even when we think about wanting to go over budget, because money is about behavior, we go, I want to go out to eat. I want to spend something. We open up the app and go, there's no more money left in that line item. We're not doing this. And it keeps us accountable. Next thing, emergency fund. Going back to this hurricane today, literally a rainy day. If you ain't got an emergency fund, listen, it's going to rain. Life is going to happen. Murphy's Law is real, okay? If you aren't prepared for an emergency, the emergency will happen to you and you will go in debt. The worst place to go when you're trying to deal with an emergency is to the credit card. You don't have the money, so you're going to go into debt. This is brilliant. College students, $500 in a savings account under the pillow somewhere where nobody else knows is at. $500 can get you through about any college emergency. Working adults, $1,000, $1,500 can get you at least through an emergency until the next month kind of stuff. It's a beginner emergency fund. You need one of those things. Eliminate debt. The borrower is a slave to the lender. If you owe people money, here's a good one. If you owe family money, you definitely feel the tension. That'll ruin family and friendships like it ain't nobody's business. Because you just enter into a business, a slave relationship. You owe them, and if you don't pay them, they're going to come looking for you. And if you owe them for the stuff that you bought from them, they're going to come looking for you and take that stuff and ruin your reputation in the process. You need to eliminate debt. Get out from under debt. How many dreams can you live right now if you didn't have a $400 student loan payment, if you didn't have a $500 car payment, if you didn't have a new phone every single year, if you weren't buying clothes like crazy, if you weren't doing all these, how many dreams could you be living right now? Adults, how many dreams could you be living if you didn't have a house payment? Average house payment in Toombs County, or mortgage payment, not counting escrow, is about $600 to $800 a month. What if you didn't have a house payment? I mean, if you need ideas on what to do with $800 a month for the rest of your life, come talk to me. I teach in a great ministry that would love donation. But you get what I'm saying? How many of your kids could you send to college? I don't know how I'm going to send my kids to college. Get debt free. Stop giving the money to other people. How much could you do? How many people could you help? You can't help the starving people in Africa. You can't help the starving people in Toombs County. You can't help the people that are really just down on their luck and you want to be able, you can't help them if you don't have anything to help them with. That's the whole purpose of all of this. Here's a cool one. What do? Get a job. Or 2 or 3. Best place to go to work when you're broke is to work. Best place. I was in college. I was working 25, 30 hours a week. And then unlike my friends who were having fun on spring break and Thanksgiving break and summer break and all these breaks where they were going to the beach and they were going here and they were there, I was working 50 to 100 hours a week sometimes. I literally pulled a 110-hour week one time over Christmas. All my buddies were like, you're just stupid. Why'd you do all that? And I said, you see my paycheck? And they're like, what is it? A few $100? I was like, I pulled over 100 hours. No, I'm not working in China. It's more than a few $100. I was like, it's 4 digits. They're like, what? I was like, yeah, it was $2,000. I was 19 years old. And they go, you need any help over spring break? I was like, no, you made fun of me. No, it's not going to happen. Okay, I had college to pay for, a truck to pay for, gas, food, phone, like responsibilities. Get a job. But I'm in school. My grades will suffer from in school. All the statistics show that if you actually work 15 to 20 hours while going to school full time, your GPA will go up by 0.3 to 0.5. How does that work? Because you're learning self-discipline, time management, responsibility, work ethic, and it seems like grades correlate with those. And some people say, but I don't have time. 2015, I looked this up. You know how much in 2015 the average college student spent on social media? 19.1 hours a week. You're spending a part-time job on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Go work at McDonald's and you'll graduate debt-free from college instead of getting on Facebook. Just throwing that out there. I did it. I'm not saying anything that I haven't done. And listen, this is simple. I want you to live your dreams. I want you to live and have fun. I just don't want your fun to have you. Have fun. I have an iPhone. I have a nice vehicle. I have nice stuff. I like guns. I like shooting stuff. I have more than several of them, okay? I like having stuff. I like having fun. My buddies that didn't kind of do this stuff in college, they had their fun, In the last 7 or 8 years, they ain't been having fun. You know what I'm saying? I want you to have fun. I just don't want your fun to have you. I want you to leave a legacy. Again, I'm going back to the Bible on this one. A wise man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. You know, I want you to listen. When you got $10 million in the bank and you die, you think your kids are going to be okay? And your grandkids are going to be okay? You're going to have to, your retirement is going to be a full-time job of figuring out who to leave your money to and give it away to. Fun problem to have. Okay? You can change your family tree. You know, if I were to say in here 7 out of 10 Americans live paycheck to paycheck, that means 7 out of 10 of you, your parents and or yourself are living paycheck to paycheck. You can change your family tree because this is all about behavior. This has barely anything to do with math. Change your family tree. You can say, you know what? Collectors aren't calling my house anymore like they did when I was at home. My kids will never know what a collector is. My kids will never know what a repo is unless they watch it on TV. Okay? My kids aren't going to know what debt is. They're going to not know what 13 to 25 credit cards between mommy and daddy look like. That's real. That's average. 21, okay, is kind of a big number for the top end of credit card users in America. They're not going to know what money fights are. They're not going to see mom and daddy stressed and fight. And when they say, what's going on? They say, well, vacation's canceled. Why? We don't have the money because we didn't know what we were doing. Change your family. Change your family. This isn't just about, I want to be rich. This is about changing your family. How do I win with money? Learn to be different. Normal in America is broke. I didn't say poor. There ain't a lot of poor people in America. Again, if you work at McDonald's, you're in the top 3 richest people in the world. There's a lot of broke people in America. Learn to be different. So we're getting right here at the close of this. For those of you that might have some questions, we got a mic somewhere around here. I think somebody's got a mic somewhere around here that we're going to pass around a little bit. For those of you that don't have any questions, you don't want to kind of sit in for any Q&A, I'm thinking food's out there, and you can go ahead and do that. So if anybody has any Q&A, we can do this for about 15 minutes, but if you want to go ahead and get up and eat, because you got somewhere to go, not going to hurt my feelings whatsoever. Nobody fell asleep, so I'm assuming everybody enjoyed this a little bit. So any questions? Awesome, appreciate it.